What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I'm sure you guys saw this leak, but apparently there is a list of information in regards to Modern Warfare 4. So this is supposed to be Infinity Ward's 2019 release. Starting off with number 1, we have the game is constructed as follows: campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and battle royale. Now, I am aware that the original crew that developed Modern Warfare 1 and 2, who originally left to form Respawn, has now returned to Infinity Ward, making their group or their entire dev team a lot bigger. So that in and of itself could make this fact possible. It could mean that they had enough time to put together not 3 but 4 complete game modes. Now, this is where things get interesting. Number 2 here contains no new campaign story. The single player is a remaster of Modern Warfare 2, excluding no Russian mission, and possibly the Modern Warfare 3 campaign will be added later. So if this is the case now, this is where disappointment comes in. If they're going to be promising 4 game modes at launch, the campaign isn't necessarily new, there is no new story, there is no new continuation after Modern Warfare 3. It's just a remaster of MW2. That kind of makes sense here. So if this is all real information, it kind of makes sense considering that they delayed Modern Warfare 2 Remastered a while back, way before Black Ops 4 even launched. So if that would have released before BO4 launched, and that means the pre-order bonus for MW4 could have been the Modern Warfare 3 Remastered campaign, while the game itself had a new campaign. That would have made sense, that would have brought people up to speed, but because all of that bullshit happened, and because of all the controversies and school shootings and massacres, they delayed MW2, this kind of makes sense now. This is where MW2 Remastered fits in. It's definitely happening, but in terms of how it's happening is the question, and this does make sense, it really does. So if anything, we have MWR, so Modern Warfare 1 Remastered, we have that already, and we'll eventually have MW2 and 3 both remastered at some point in 2019. So it does make sense. I'm not going to exclude this out of reality here. This does make sense. So moving on to number 3. Similar to Treyarch Black Ops 4, Infinity Ward Modern Warfare 4 will be heavily focused on the multiplayer aspect of the game. Fan favorite maps from the Modern Warfare series will be coming back alongside new maps and weaponry. So I guess this sounds alright here. There are people out there who were against Treyarch's decision to stick with a multiplayer-centered Call of Duty, and even in the scrapped campaign that Black Ops 4 had, it was based on multiplayer. It was supposed to be this 2v2 type of game mode, racing to the finish. There was no real single-player mode of Black Ops 4. Now we have Specialist Stories, which is the single-player mode, but before that, everything was centered heavily around multiplayer, and Treyarch has made that clear. Despite denying that there was ever a campaign, they've still said that from the start, Black Ops 4 was focused mainly on multiplayer. So if Infinity Ward is taking that approach, that is not really turning on the people who were against Black Ops 4 being heavily centered around multiplayer. Some people do like that single player experience, that little campaign or that 9-hour campaign where you can sit down by yourself, put your headset on, and just zone out into the campaign. So not sure how I feel about that, but if Infinity Ward did do a battle royale mode, then obviously it makes sense we'll be seeing the fan favorite maps and weapons returning. Now, moving on to number 4. Modern Warfare 4 Battle Royale will contain iconic characters from the old series, including Call of Duty Ghost. Now, I won't get into this too much, but I am a massive fanboy with Call of Duty Ghost. I absolutely adore that game. Master Prestige in multiplayer, beat every extinction map, had a whole bunch of teeth. The campaign wasn't all that. It was a bit too easy. The story was a bit predictable, but wasn't the worst. I was really aiming for a sequel to Call of Duty Ghost this year with a continuation to Extinction, excluding that bullshit from Beast from Beyond and Infinite Warfare. I was hoping for that, but obviously we're not getting it. It's not going to boost the sales that Activision wants. So the fact that it's containing iconic characters from Call of Duty Ghost does honestly mean that it's kind of crossing over both universes. If Call of Duty Ghost is in the same universe as Modern Warfare, then it's as easy as that. But if not, then this is crossing over both universes. Unless they're going to say that none of it's canon. I don't know how they're going to do that or how they're going to approach it, but We'll see how that turns out. Nonetheless, very excited to see the return of some iconic characters from Call of Duty Ghost, one of my favorite Call of Duties of all time. Now, number 5 here, we have Mr. Craig Fairbrace. His voice is the main announcer in multiplayer alongside a couple characters in the Battle Royale mode. Now, the fact that this information is so specific in terms of who the announcer is could honestly mean that this information is all 100% accurate. But once again, as we say with all leaks we get in the Call of Duty community, take everything with a grain of salt because information could change. There could be leaks at a certain point of time that are altered later on before release. We just don't know what's gonna happen. On number 6 here we have Modern Warfare 4 Battle Royale will be similar in size to Treyarch's Blackout. Nearly 45% of the map will be covered in snow. Players can use snowmobiles for transportation in that area. Now, when I hear this information or when I read it, I immediately think of the campaign mission from Modern Warfare 2 where we are on snowmobiles, so it's going to be a huge throwback. I know Infinity Ward can definitely pull off a very nostalgic Battle Royale mode if they have the dev power to do it. There are so many iconic moments, missions, settings, weapons, characters from the Modern Warfare series that they can easily implement into Battle Royale. So obviously, to differentiate Modern Warfare's Battle Royale from Blackout, they'd have snowmobiles instead of ATVs, let's say. And obviously, you don't have much snow in Blackout at this moment in time. So putting in snowmobiles into Modern Warfare 4 BR would be pretty damn fun. So number 7 here, Modern Warfare 4 will introduce specialists for the first time in the series. So if this is true, this is going against everything people are complaining about. So there are people who like the specialists. I don't mind them too much. They do piss me off sometimes, but there are a lot of other people out there who are heavy advocates for classic multiplayer. No specialists, no bullshit abilities. Now, the way I see it, specialists ruin a lot of good gun streaks in game. I mean, you can be going on a 22 gun streak, going for that nuke, and you get killed by something like a dog or a grab slam. Something that's out of your control, something you can't counter against. That's the problem with specialists. You could counter against them in certain aspects of the game, but honestly, it's honestly a rip when you go up against a specialist ability or a specialist attack. So if Modern Warfare 4 does incorporate them, hopefully they're not as OP as the Treyarch specialists, but this is kind of anti-consumer. A lot of people are complaining that they want classic multiplayer back. This is Infinity Ward's chance to do it. World War II had some classic multiplayer with some annoyances as well, but I honestly do think Infinity Ward could pull off a very classic multiplayer experience that brings Call of Duty fans back to the franchise if they left Black Ops 4 for the sole purpose of specialists. Now, we have number 8. The Pick 10 system is a class building feature in Modern Warfare 4, kind of similar to Call of Duty Ghost, if I had to be honest with you. And the final entry on this list here is that Modern Warfare 4 is the finale of the series. Now, if that's true, then they're kind of doing what Treyarch did with Black Ops 4, and they're kind of having this big celebration from the entire Modern Warfare universe here by incorporating everything we know and love into one giant game mode, which is Battle Royale, and on top of that, providing some fan service with the remastered Modern Warfare 2 and 3 campaigns. So let me know what you think of all this down below in the comment section. In terms of zombies, which I didn't really touch on too much in this video, I hope they don't do it. We all know Lee Ross is working at Treyarch now, so there is no point to them trying to continue that universe of zombies there. But if they kind of revamp zombies and do a different take on zombies with some Modern Warfare nostalgia, then I'd be game for that. I just don't want a continuation of that Willard Wyler, Pee Wee Herman, Scooby-Doo type of zombie storyline we got within Infinite Warfare. I just wasn't a fan. Other people might disagree, but let me know what you think of all this. And this has been dkdynamite. Check all links down below in the description. I'll keep you guys up to date with the latest information on Modern Warfare 4. I'm looking forward to this. By the sound of it, you're taking a very similar approach to Treyarch in the sense that they're celebrating the entire Modern Warfare universe, doing a massive Battle Royale, possibly, just possibly, a nostalgic multiplayer mode. But if there's specialists in there, it's going to piss some people off, but hopefully they pull it off with a nice balance. Not sure how I feel about the campaign not being a new story. At the same time, though, to play devil's advocate, it does make sense. They don't want to kind of tarnish what made Modern Warfare so special. They don't want to ruin the ending that Modern Warfare 3 had. So we'll all see in due time what exactly comes to light in the near future. But that's about it, and peace out, everybody.